Hey guys, you ready to get wrenching? Today we got a compression test. This will help you find misfires. You may have a code for a misfire. There may be some sort of issue with the idle or something that you can't figure out. And this is a quick, easy way to determine if you have a mechanical problem, because if you don't have compression, you don't have anything. And you have piston rings and valves, and there needs to be a good seal. So you need to check that seal, see if that might be your problem. You'll need these spark plug sockets, and these fit a variety, so that way you can take your spark plugs out. They have a special rubber boot inside that holds the spark plug as you pull it out. And then here's the little compression gauge. You can also use this on just about anything that has adapters. Okay, guys, first thing you want to do is start your engine up. 10-15 minutes warming up. You can go ahead, turn the engine off. Okay guys, the next thing you want to do is unplug your ignition or distributor. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull that out. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. You want to take out your fuel pump fuse or the fuse for your fuel injectors. Just going to set that right here out of the way. Okay, the next step, you guys, you want to remove your wires or coil packs, whichever you have. And you see I have videos on that also. So you want to make sure you twist and pull, twist and pull, twist and pull. So you may want to label these or number them with something, that way you know where they go. Okay, you want to get your ratchet, extension, and a socket. The spark plug socket says a rubber boot inside. This extension's a little worn out, so I'm going to take a small piece of tissue, put it over the extension. This usually does the trick. Then I'll put it on, push it over it like that, and now holds a lot better. And that tissue actually has oil on it and it still holds. Look at those spark plugs. You can tell they're brand new. I don't see anything. You can always look on here. If they're white, they're running lean, a lot of carbon build up black, they're usually running rich, but it's going to be a little harder to tell with those. Okay, you guys, the next thing you want to do is hold your throttle all the way to the floor. If you don't unhook the fuel pump fuse or something like that, you can usually hold the throttle to the floor and it'll put it in what's called clear flood mode. Or some vehicles you need to hold this down anyways, or you're not going to get a correct reading. So you want to hold the throttle all the way to the floor as you crank the engine over. So this is a 4-cylinder, so I'm writing down cylinder 1, 2, 3, and 4, how many PSIs. And then for the wet test, I'll do the same 1 through 4. So the wet test, you're putting a few drops of oil in each cylinder, just a couple of drops, don't put a whole lot in it, and you want to test it again. Okay, when you write these down, if you see a difference of 15% between any of them, then it could indicate a problem. So long as they're the same all across the board, even if they're not 100% what they should be, if you're supposed to have 150 psi's and you have, say, 130 or 40, but it's the same all the way across, it's usually not as bad. It's when you have a huge difference in one particular cylinder. So you want to make sure you have a pen and paper, that way you can write this down. Here we have our hose. This is the adapter. Choose the adapter that fits your spark plug hole. In my case, it's this adapter. This also may fit it, or this. So you have like 4 to choose from, and you just want to put it on finger tight. Get it on real good and tight, finger tight. Then you want to take your line before you hook your gauge up. You want to put it in there like this, because you do not want to cross thread it, and you don't want it in there super tight. So you just take your hose, twirl it around, run it in there until it stops. Take this, run this in as well. There we go. Now we have our gauge hooked up. Okay guys, I got you all the best view I could get. Now let's start this thing up. Make sure you guys don't hold this over for more than about 5 seconds per cylinder. You definitely don't want to go over 10 seconds because you'll burn your starter up. So go ahead, crank your car for 5 seconds, and that's what I'm about to do myself. As you guys can see, it hit 180 psi's. So what you want to do is push this button, release the pressure. Then you guys want to move on to the next cylinder. So remember, hold it to the floor, the gas pedal, and don't crank it for more than 5-6 seconds. You don't want to burn your starter up. Okay. Now, as we could see, looks like we're up to about 190. You want to wait a second and you want to see if this holds pressure. Look at it, make sure it don't drop suddenly, because if it does, you definitely have a problem. Bleed your pressure off. Okay guys, now we're moving on to cylinder 3. We'll come back and do our wet test after we've done the rest of the cylinders. Okay guys, as you can see, cylinder 3 is 185. Cylinder 4, you can go get you one of these syringes for like $1, and honestly, you can use anything. You can put a small vacuum line on the end of a funnel or tip of a bottle or something. Just any type of little bit thicker oil that you can put in your spark plug hole. You just want to put a couple drops. Usually these tests are all over the place, meaning people a lot of times get inaccurate results because they don't use a way to measure how much oil they're putting in. You don't want to get any contaminants in with it, so make sure you put it straight into the hole. Put just a little. I use a different syringe, different size, so I'm not used to the size, but as long as it's all the same. looks like it's increased about 10 pounds. Usually you'll always get a high reading when you do a wet test, so keep that in mind. Put your oil in, make sure you measured it. Go into the next one. Okay, look, pressure increased even on these, so well over 200. Okay guys, I don't want to bore you with all the details, but this is the last one, and remember, it has to be 15% between cylinders, and if there is, you may have some serious mechanical problems. You may want to talk to your mechanic about doing work replacing your piston rings or doing work on your valves. It can be very costly, so $195, and the previous pressure was 185, so it gave me 10 psi's. But it all still falls within range, about 15%. So I want to thank you guys for watching Nate's Interactive Auto. It all goes back in the reverse order. You guys have a good one.